right, brothers. I'll be right with you. Let me see, Jalen Jones. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. That was fairly smooth to get started. Feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. I am monitoring the chat. Um, so, like, as you have questions, give me just a few more minutes to kind of finish getting set up here. Let me see. Hey Siri, play some lo-fi music. No, 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 not that. Now playing lo-fi. Because let's do the phone. I'll play. Ooh, some other ones. No copyright, no copyright. Try this out for a little bit. All right, let's see who else we got. Let me tell him, leave him a message. Message, yo, you got to change your name. I'm not gonna add you because of your name. Message. Please update your display name with your student name to gain access. All right. See, I don't know who this student is either. They need to update their names. I think it's the student. All right. There was one other thing I wanted to do. Let's see. I can't think of what it is. Let's go like this. All right. Can I unlock this? That was a little bit easier from the lock screen. Oh, I know what it was. All right. Let me just grab. I just want to use my mic, and then I think we'll be ready to go. All right, let me check. Let's see. That looks good. Okay, actually, I need to do this. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go ahead and log in. I'm going to assume all that looks good. I'm not going to worry about it. There's this one. When they log in, they should see this. Okay. So let's hop here for the time being. All right. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Everything looks, let me see. Everything looks okay. So I'm going to let it be until I hear otherwise. Let me see. So a few updates. We do have some updates. So like one thing is I do intend to live stream this each session to YouTube. So this is streaming live to YouTube. You go to my YouTube channel to gain access. Let me see. Let me go ahead and open up. Well, I'll do that a little bit later. Let me see some other updates. So I did regain access back to Blackboard. That was like a few hours ago. So I just been working kind of feverishly, trying to get as much stuff in order as I can up until this point. So that being said, let's just do a quick tour of what's available there. Let me see. So if I go to like Zoom, if I go here, me stop sharing. And then I want to share. I think I'm okay sharing my desktop for right now. Let's share it. And let's hop here. Okay. Okay. So again, feel free to either unmute yourself or put in the chat if you have any questions or if anything is not clear. So my intent of how to run the class, I think I am going to go to the asynchronous setup. And what that means is that you don't really have to like stay in class on any given day. Just each class session, I really just need you to check in. Um, I just need you to check in, and like once you get into the Zoom, gaining access to my Zoom is your attendance credit for that day. So I take attendance as I let students in. You're welcome to stay. You don't have to stay. I'm not going to make you stay. All these lectures are recorded. The full semester is already loaded into. We got another student. Okay. There he is. The full semester, it's the same information that I did last semester, so I'm going to use it. So these are on my YouTube channel. When you start to, so let's start with the homework, right, and how to access that and how to navigate it. So if we log into the portal, you should be able to see the portal. It looks like it's working. So if I go to Blackboard Learn, when you log into our class, it should look like the following. I'm going to go to Courses, and then Hours. I'm just going to use this one link for both classes. I know we have 2 links, but I felt like that back and forth is a bit much. So I'm just going to use this one that says with lab. So if you open up that one, this is where I'm going to do everything. So I haven't loaded the syllabus here yet. It should be in your email, and it should be essentially the same. If you're in my Zoom session now, you've already successfully used this tool. However you did it, there are several ways to gain access. I have it in several locations. But you can always scan this QR code. Like if you're on an iPhone, you just open up your camera and just hover your camera over this, and it'll take you directly to our Zoom session. I will be putting the PowerPoint lecture slides here, or anything that you see me writing, I'll be loading it here. There are a few more folders I need to create, but the one I really want you to kind of take a look at right now, if we go to assignments. And so I took some time, I finally got it working, how to link Blackboard, how to link Pearson to Blackboard. I'm still setting up the gradebook, like linking it to your gradebook and getting that organized. But if you go to assignments and you click on this first one that says My Math Lab All Assignments, and it should take you to, and I went on and made all the assignments available for the semester. So that's a huge implication. What that means is that honestly, if you want to get ahead, you can. So once you gain access to the assignments, the first thing you notice, here's a link to my YouTube channel. That's where I'm streaming this information. I have all the lectures for the entire semester already there. So if you want to get ahead in my class, you can. The only thing you really don't have access to right now are our 3 exams. We have a total of 3 exams, exams 1, exam 2, and the final. But you can see here, and your exams are going to appear here. But you can see the assignments for this week along with the quiz for this week. The quiz will take you maybe 10 minutes if you know what you're doing. With all of these assignments, we get unlimited attempts, but they do have due dates, right? So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. In the chat, if you can hear me, just, whoops, let's go back. Thank you. In the chat, if you can hear me, just, type in the chat so I know that you can hear me and everything is working properly and I'm not wasting everybody's time. Or either unmute yourself. Can you guys hear me okay? You guys there? All right. I'm going to keep going. Hopefully you guys can hear me. You're making me nervous now. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go, guys. Okay. Yeah. So let me see if I can think of anything else. So yeah, I mean, honestly, the assignments are here. Like you can get ahead, like the lectures, all the information that I intend to say is already available. So that's where you will go to my YouTube channel. You will watch the corresponding lecture. Let's click on that link and see what happens. So when we open up this assignment, you see this says all lectures for the semester. I'm going to click on that. Let's see what happens. It should take you there, right? And so what this is a playlist. It'll probably be a little bit easier to go to my actual page, the YouTube page, but this should be the playlist of everything for the entire semester for this course. You know, and we can fix the display or whatever, but at least the link works. You could always just go directly to my YouTube channel and see I got credit for it, right? So once you get credit for that, and then like we can go like to week 1. And so anything that I want to talk about for this week is right here. You have the homework and the quiz. So if you want to get ahead, you can. And I definitely recommend it. Because what's going to happen is, you know, in your other classes, basically like when you get to about week 3 and 4, all your classes are going to have an exam all at the same time. So if you can get ahead in my class, then that way you won't be crammed, right? You can kind of set your own rhythm and own pace. We have unlimited attempts at all of these assignments, but again, note the due date. Past the due date for these assignments is a 10% late penalty. So if you want an A on a late assignment, you can still get it, but you got to get a perfect score if you're submitting it late in order to get an A. If you're submitting it late, you can get an 80. You can honestly get whatever letter grade you want almost at any moment. Let me check the chat to see if there are any questions. Let's see. Cool, you guys can hear me, so I'm gonna let that be. Let me see if there's anything else. So that's the pertinent information. So again, to gain access to this, let me see. Yeah, there it is. So you go to our Blackboard. Let's back all the way out. Let's close this out. So when you go to the portal, you're here. You go to Blackboard Learn. You find our course. We're gonna have 2 links. So you go to courses, and we're just gonna use it's gonna be that same link every time. I'm gonna put everything in this one folder right here. So 105 section 2. Yours might look a little different. It'll take you here, and then the assignments. You click on this. All assignments, and that's where your grades are gonna come from my course. Everything is gonna be right here. And then, so the other thing that I think you all have to do on your end, I think you should be prompted to purchase full access. In the past, like 5 or 6 years ago, when I was teaching at Morehouse full time, Morehouse was participating in this program called the Include Ed program, where these materials were included in your tuition. But I think they've since then done away with that program, so now you're responsible for purchasing access. You have to purchase full access. So you know, but that's how you do it. It should run you about $120, give or take $10. And it's you know, it's important. Like that's how we're gonna do this. To me, Pearson is the best. It's very user friendly for the professor and the students. It's about as good as you're going to get as an online homework math learning tool. And it just works really well. They're pretty good. Another thing to just kind of be aware of, as we get closer to like midterms and finals, students all across the nation are going to be using this software, and it does tend to slow down at those important moments. So like if you're waiting to the last minute to try to submit assignments, just be wary about that, because it will slow down or it'll crash. It'll become unavailable, and you just don't want to be there. So you want to do the best you can to get ahead. Again, the lectures are there, or you can just go directly to my YouTube channel, Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer, and there's a playlist. It's going to say College Algebra, you know, for this course or whatever, and you can watch it week by week. Anything associated with Section 1.1. I just loaded all of my conversations with students of the past there. I think I know who Money Time is. I'm going to need Money Time to change his name. Email me something, because I'm just not going to let him in with that name, Money Time, because of the Zoom bombs. He can thank the Zoom bombers for that one. He just has to email me. I know there's at least one student that's having a little bit of hard time getting in. And I have some others here I haven't heard from. But so with that being said, the lecture for Section 1.1, all of these are already on my YouTube channel, so I would start there. What I'm going to use class time for, my intent for class time, we should have a lot of extra time, but my intent for class time is to either answer specific questions, And I was just going to kind of take my time and go through these assignments, like basically just open the assignment up. Unless somebody requests a specific question, let me show you this. So say you're going through the homework. Let's open up a homework. This doesn't work for quizzes, but I'm going to choose. Does anybody have a favorite number between 1 and 20 in the chat? Anybody got a favorite number? Hey Siri, give me a random number 1 through 20. 3. Okay, 3 is the winner. Let's see. See, she's over in the other room. Man, Siri be listening hard. Okay, so let's look at question number 3. Me. Okay, Mr. Drew. There we go. Yeah, so that's fine. As long as you got in, so you have attendance credit. It shouldn't be an issue. I know I just didn't want to let the person in because the whole Zoom bombers. So to gain access, and I think Mr. Jackson, I need your full name too. I let you in because I did find a Jackson on my roster, but just do your best to try to use your student name. It's no worries, no worries. So now let's look at question number 3. Say we're working the homework right, and we're just stuck. Now it's definitely a good idea. I think my calculus students, they started to group me. Right, they like right off the bat, they were like, "Hey, everybody, let's go ahead and start this group meeting." I was like, "Yes, do that. I'd rather y'all be on one accord than, no, I don't want anybody left behind." So I definitely recommend a group me, right? So I'm gonna leave that up to you all. Maybe somebody can spearhead that, whatever, right? So say we're working this assignment. Can anybody tell me what is this 1.1.11? Can anybody explain that to me? What does that mean? 1.1.11. What does that mean? Like in the chat, or either feel free. Let me see if you can unmute yourself. Security. Yeah, right now you should be able to unmute yourself. So this 1.1.11, that's the question ID. That tells you where in the book it's coming from. So this ID means that this comes from section 1.1. This is question number 11 from the back of that section, right? So that right there is valuable information. Say you were looking at this, you're like, how am I supposed to solve this? What does collinear mean, right? You have questions. So if you have a hard copy book, you could flip to section 1.1 and kind of peruse there. With this software, with Pearson, right here, you have textbook, right? So if I click on that, you have the entire digital, well, I know that's not good, but it does work. Like, it's pretty good, right? So just kind of play with it. But it has the ebook. Usually the ebook works, maybe because I'm live streaming or whatever, it's not working right now. But generally, as long as you can get on the web, you have an ebook there. Now, usually they have some other software that you have to download, but it works. Once you get it going, it's very handy to have. So you can open up a digital book and kind of search it that way. View an example is very powerful. It'll give you the same question with different numbers, and then you can hold it up and match it up to yours and apply whatever they're doing. The view an example is one of the reasons why I vouch for Pearson. It basically, it says 8 parts remaining. You can hit continue, and it gives an explanation of each question that the view an example is a part of. It explains it like step by step, right? So what you're going to discover, you're going to realize that a lot of the learning here is self-directed. I know you're like, oh, if I got to teach myself, what do I have the professor? Because that's what the students sound like to me. Oh, Mr. I just play. You don't really sound like to me. That's just what I make people sound like because I want to, it's probably my ego or something. But I have had that question come up. It's like, well, if we can teach ourselves, why do we need you? And I was like, well, you actually do need me because some of this stuff, even with these explanations, you're still going to need another perspective because sometimes this can be a lot of information and it can be overwhelming. But when you have multiple perspectives or multiple angles to look at something from, you get a better sense of the picture. You get a better idea of the picture. So you not only have me, but you have this tool for Pearson. You have your classmates, you have tutors, you have other professors. You have the entire web to use at your disposal to get a sense of what's going on, right? So you want to have as many angles and perspectives as you can to look at this information until it starts to click. And then, so another very powerful tool with this question help is this Ask My Instructor. So if you vibe with my style, you can click on the Ask My Instructor after you've thought about it. Think about it, kind of do your own research a bit, and if you still just cannot figure it out, then use the Ask My Instructor because sometimes I get overwhelmed. It'd be a lot of questions and I just can't keep up. So you just want to have other sources because if you try to rely solely on me, I might kind of start to slow down and just not be able to keep up. That's why I'm kind of delegating some of the responsibility. But what this does, this will send me a screenshot of your very question. I'll load it into my tablet, and I usually make dedicated YouTube videos walking students through their questions. But this Ask My Instructor is the best way to ask me questions. It'll come to my email. I'll look at it, and I'll respond in the appropriate manner as soon as I can. Right? Let me check the chat to see if there are any questions. Hopefully, we're all aboard and we're not all bored. I know I can kind of talk a little fast. Just do the best you can. If you're already in my Zoom, you already got attendance credit. Do what you need to do. A lot of this experience is about balance. Again, math by itself is a beast all by itself. Even if I was the calmest, slowest talking professor, lowest energy, most common energy, it's still a beast, right? So I know my fast talking and the high energy. We did meet yesterday. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that you get attendance credit for yesterday because I know that there was a student, and if you claim that name, then I'll make sure that you get credit for yesterday. And the first week, it's a little bit, everybody's trying to get used to everything, so don't stress about that. But you're here now, so we can move forward. But yeah, so that's the gist of it. So on any given day, like this week, the main goal is finish the stuff for week 1. So that's just basically section 1.1. There's a lecture, there's a homework, and there's a quiz. And that's all. The lectures are on my YouTube, and the assignments are on Blackboard here. So I need to. How come I can't hear? Oh, I know why. Oh, I know, because I got this microphone in. So I need my headphones. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab my headphones so I can hear you guys if you unmute yourself. I'll be right back. And so, like, what I realized. Let me see. Right now, it's not set up properly. Let's go here. Let's go here. Connect. And you need to be on the speaker. Stress about it too much. All right. But yeah, so a good place to start is with my YouTube. And start with section 1.1. Watch those lectures and take notes as if you're in class. Um, I still need to load I still have a little bit of work to do on Blackboard as far as loading slides and things of that nature. But the homework is there, so you can actually get started with work. The lectures are available on my YouTube, and again, I'll load the PDFs within the next couple of days. Let me see. You should be able to unmute yourself now, and I can hear you because I just forgot my headphones. Let me check the chat one more time. If there aren't any burning questions, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get started on these homework assignments for this week. So start on section 1.1. There is one more component to the class that I do want to incorporate. It's going to be Alex, but I need to speak with my colleague to see if she's still spearheading that again, because I think Alex was a nice component. And I want to use Alex as our lab component, right? So we have this Pearson through Blackboard. That'll be our homework and quizzes and the main part of our grade. And then the 10% will come from Alex. That'll be our lab grade. And the way Alex works, so you should already have an Alex account, and basically you want to just kind of continue with just log into your own Alex account that you should already have set up, and just continue working there. And the goal is based on your level. By the end of the semester, we want everybody to be at the level of prepare for college algebra. If you're already at prepare for college algebra, let me see, like if you're at the college algebra level or lower, then you need to do like, I think it was like 50 topics a week, because the whole goal is to be at the college algebra level or higher by the end of the semester. If you're at like the pre-calculus level, then you need to do like, I think it was like 40 topics a week, something like that. And if you're at like calculus or higher or anything above pre-cal, then you need to do like 25 topics per week. Um, that's on Alex. And so I'm gonna speak with my colleague on just she usually pulls all that data and she sends it to me on a weekly basis on what everyone's doing, and I just use that as part of your lab grade. Um, and so yeah, as and again, so we're gonna use class time. If you have a question over anything, homework that you want me to go through, any questions, we can use class time for that. But I'm gonna do the whole asynchronous setup where you watch the lectures on your own, take notes on your own, write down your questions, either email me or ask me during class any questions that you have, and I'm just gonna use class time to work homework questions. Um, and then between homework and Alex, between those two, that'll get us through to the end of the semester. Okay, I know it's a little bit all over the place, but just kind of you have to just kind of speak up because the closed mouth don't get fed. Okay, so I'm gonna leave section 1.1 on YouTube. You have to watch it on your own and just take notes as if you're in class. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on some of these homework assignments, and you just kind of have to keep me honest. And again, if you have a question, feel free to either unmute yourself or type in the chat, and I'll try to monitor both of those. Okay. So this comes from section 1.1, graphs of equations. So this is kind of recapping what we did last time. So it says plot these points in the plane and then tell in which quadrant each axis point lies. Okay. So it says negative 6, 5. So that means we go what? Left 6 and up 5. So that should be A. I'm just going to hit enter. Fantastic. If we go left and up, that's quadrant 2. Again, let me keep the chat open. So if you have questions, like if you have questions about the chat, the quadrant or anything like that, let's keep going. Choose the graph, 6, 0. So we go to the right by 6 and we don't move. That should be A. Okay. Let me zoom out. I think if I go like this, that's a little bit better. All right. Which axis is 6, 0? So the x-axis, right? Let's check it. Cool. Choose the graph. It says right 2 and down 3. So that should be this one, B. And so, like, if you wanted to either go ahead and get started on your homework, you can. Again, my recommendation, like, I think I loaded all the assignments except for the exams for the semester. I went on and just loaded them already. So if you want to get ahead, feel free. I really just need you guys to get your daily attendance credit, check in, make sure everything is okay. You don't have any questions, and then, I'll let you decide what you want to do from there. My intent is to be here, though. Like, be here and, you know, making sure these things are there. What is this? You have a question? What about it? Yeah, I guess you couldn't hear me. I thought I addressed that. Like, don't worry about it. I'll make sure that you get attendance credit. I won't hold it against you. It's just the first day, so it's okay. But you're here. You got attendance credit today, and I think you should be fine. Yep. Okay. Let's see. In which quadrant does the point 2 comma negative 3 lie? 2, negative 3. So that's quadrant 4. So again, the quadrant. Let me blow this up like this. Right. So the quadrants, the way they go, the upper right-hand quadrant, that's quadrant 1. Upper left is quadrant 2. Bottom left is quadrant 3. Bottom right is quadrant 4. So they kind of go counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So this point is in quadrant 4, right here. Okay, where do we buy? We got another question. Let's see. So the online access, what you want to do is, let's do it this way. So if you go to the Morehouse portal, you go to the portal and then you go to Blackboard Learn, you click here. and then you log into our course on Blackboard. So I usually go to like courses, and this course is this one, right? So with lab section 2, and then you go down to folder number 4, and when you log into the assignments here, eventually you should be prompted for payment, and that's how you will pay. There. Okay. Turn this down so it's better. All right. So let's look at this one. So this is question number 2, and I'm just watching the clock. We don't have to rush. Like we got a good amount of time that we meet on a weekly basis. We don't meet on Wednesdays. So after today, our next meeting is going to be Thursday, same as today, right? I find the distance between these 2 points and the midpoint, right? So I'm going to actually write this one out. We talked about this one last time, and again, just be careful about not watching my lectures because if you try to do the homework and you don't have a point of reference, it might take you longer. You might have a harder time, right? I mean, I'll let you decide how you want to work that. The information is there, um, but my recommendation is to take notes. You want to be thorough. Make sure you kind of do everything. Let me get a copy of this. Let me do it like this. hmm I want to go from. I need it from like here. I just realized that is showing that. I just realized you can't see that on my screen. That's okay. Let me go like this for right now. Let me go here. hmm Where's the screenshot I just did? Not that one. Yeah. Let me share. AirDrop. This one. Okay. I forgot about this. So let's hop back here. And yeah, like that. I want to insert. Man, it's totally slowing down. This one. Ooh. Let's go to paper. Like this. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see this, and then I made that kind of as big as I could. I'm gonna let that be. Okay. So let's walk through this one. Let me get rid of this because I don't need it right this second. So we're asked to find the distance between these 2 points and then the coordinates of the midpoint, right? So then the point P. Let me do this real quick because it is slowing down. This one. This one. Okay. And let's go paper like this. Okay. So the point P is the point 8 comma 4. The point Q is the point 8 comma 6. Right. So the distance formula. So again, I think last time in class we said if you have, as you kind of create your homework notebook, one, actually have a homework notebook. So you see how I have a copy of this original question? You want to have a copy of the question, any of your supporting work, and then box your final answer. You just want to make a habit of doing that for everything. You want to make like a catalog or your own library of questions that you've completed. Because what happens is if you don't like have a log of this stuff, when you see that same question again, like on an exam or a quiz, you're like, dang, I just did that, and you're gonna have to do it from memory. Versus if you have it written down, then you can just, oh wait, I did the same thing. Let me flip to it. Oh, it's the exact same thing. Let me just update the numbers, and then you'll have a greater chance of success the better your organization. Also, at the back of your homework notebook is definitely a good idea to have a formula sheet. So one of those formulas should already be there, but if it's not, I would add the distance formula. Distance formula. All right. So the distance formula, last time I think we said the distance between 2 points P and Q is going to be the square root x of 2 minus x of 1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay. And I think last time we said that this comes out of Pythagorean theorem for right triangles. A squared plus b squared plus equals c squared. Okay. So then also when we have 2 points, I like to just kind of automatically label them x1, y1, x2, y2, right? So then if we apply these just into the formula, x2 is going to be 8, x1 is going to be 8 squared, plus y2 is going to be 6, y1 is 4 squared, right? So then that's going to be the square root of 4, which is 2. So the distance between these 2 points should be 2. Okay. And then we're also asked to find the midpoint. So I think we talked about the midpoint formula as well. Midpoint. Midpoint formula is basically the average of the x's, comma average of the y's. So that's going to be x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Right? So we can still use that same x1, y1. So like this. Okay. So then x1 is 8. Let me see. We got somebody trying to get in. They get booted. Let me see my users. Oh yeah, I don't think he got booted. Okay, that's fine. Admit. All right, let's keep it going. So x1 is 8, x2 is also 8, so 8 plus 8 over 2, comma, y1 is 4, y2 is 6 over 2, right? So the midpoint, oh, the midpoint is going to be those two. 8 plus 8 is what? 16 divided by 2 is 8. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So these should be the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop back over to Pearson and just submit these results. So Pearson is like here. Let me see. I need to Safari properties. This one. Yeah, that's right. Hit OK. And then Safari. And that needs to be like full screen. Like this. Come on. Like this. Like this. Okay, I think that did it. Give me just a moment, sorry guys. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So now let's check these results that we just got. So we only have about maybe we'll kind of be here for I think it's like another 10 minutes, 20 minutes or so, maybe 15. 5:15. No, that's not right. 5:15 to 6:30. Sorry, we got it at 6:30, so we still got a little bit of time. The distance, I think we got a distance of 2 units. Okay. And then the coordinates we got were 8, comma 5. So parentheses 8, comma 5. All right. Let me check the chat to see if there are any questions. Yeah, okay. So we addressed that already. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. Determine whether the 3 points are collinear. Can anybody explain to me what is collinear? Can you guys hear each other like when you unmute yourselves? Can everybody hear, or is it just me? Or can anybody explain like what does collinear mean? Like if you break down the word, it's similar to like if you were to say co-worker, what does the co mean, and then apply it to collinear, right? So collinear means together or same, right? Like a co-worker is somebody you work together with, somebody you work with. Collinear is like, are these points on the same line, right? Are they together on the same line? So if we want to know, there are a couple of techniques. I'm going to do what first comes to my mind as far as how to approach this, and then I'm going to go back and see how does the book approach it, right? So if I think collinear, if I want to know if these 3 points are on the same line, what I'm thinking is find the equation of the line and make sure that all three are on that line, right? So that's how my mind works. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, or one. I'm an aspiring vegan. I definitely have meat every now and then, but I can't really eat it anymore. So instead of skinning a cat, I'm going to say there's more than one way to skin a carrot, right? If you happen to play Mobile Legends, you'll find me on there on Mobile Legends. I'm vegan math. It's just a random name. It was like because I am trying to be vegan and I like mathematics, so I call myself vegan math. And it's so much fun because it's basically like a 5-on-5 battle royale, and like I'll be choosing like the dopiest character. I love Diggy. Diggy is my favorite character, even though I can't play with the video board because they've changed the meta or whatever, so I'm no good with them. But I'm still trying. I'll try every now and then. But it's so much fun because we got this little dopey bird, and he'd be like killing people, and it's so funny to me whenever you get a kill with Diggy. Anyway, 5-on-5 battle royale. But yeah, getting back on task. So, 3 points of collinear. Okay, yeah. So let me take some notes, and we're gonna hop over to my notepad. So first, my notes. Let me see. So this comes from section 1.1.11. Let me see. I'm gonna write collinear, with two L's, collinear, question mark, right? And then we got the 3 points, 0, comma, -9. We got -3, comma, -11, and we have 2, comma, -7, right? So let's hop over to my tablet, which is Chill. And then for you guys there, we're here. Boom. Starting to work out the kinks now. Some people got it a lot smoother. I still haven't got to that level. I think it's because I'm streaming on multiple platforms. But I'll figure out something with that. So now my plan of attack is to find the equation of the line through two of the points, and then see if the third point is on that same line, right? So if we're talking lines, whenever I'm doing lines, again, I think we talked about this last time, but I don't mind doing it here. Whenever we're doing lines, I usually like to have three equations ready to go. The first is called the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line, and that's your classic y equals mx plus b, right? The second equation I like to have ready to go when I'm working with lines is my slope formula. Slope formula is the slope changing y over changing x, so it's rise over run, so that's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, that's the slope. And the third formula I like to have ready to go whenever I'm working lines is my point slope. So point slope formula, right? Point slope, we use that formula when we're given the point and the slope, but I really just use the first one like every time, and I just find the slope whenever I need to. But you have to make some adjustments as you do it. So point slope goes y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, right? So whenever I'm working lines, I like to have those three ready to go. I'm just going to kind of shrink them down and like leave them over here to the side as a reference. Okay. Hopefully you can see that okay. And all the stuff you see me writing, I intend to make it available on Blackboard. So I'll make a folder and I'll load the PDFs there. Probably load some links. I think the link might work a little bit better than the PDF. But anyway, so now I want to find the equation of the line through two of these points, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2, right? So first let's find the slope. Again, one of my mentors would say every time you use a formula, write it down. That constant repetition of writing it down will ingrain it into your memory. Okay? Practice makes what? Hopefully you did not say improvement. Practice makes, sorry, hopefully you did not say perfect. I totally botched it, but it's different because we're not live. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes improvement, right? Because if it made perfect, and you know, if something's perfect, you don't ever have to practice again. But you know what happens when we stop practicing? Our skill level goes down. So practice makes improvement. We're either getting better or we're getting worse. Every day, we're either getting better, our skills are getting sharper, we're getting faster, you know, smoother, you know, all that kind of stuff, or we're going the other direction, right? So anyway, I'm watching the clock. I'll keep you guys for no more than 10 more minutes. Um, so slope formula, right? Again, the slope between 2 points, rise over run, changing y over changing x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, that's going to be the slope, right? So my y2, let's do it like this. I'm going to replace each coordinate with a blank set of parentheses. So blank parentheses, what that does, it helps to keep track of the negatives. Without the blank parentheses, it's very easy to lose track of the negatives and make mistakes, right? So now our y2 is negative 11. Our y1 is negative 9. You see how much more clear and clean it is to keep track of those negatives? And the neater you are, the more organized you are, the less likely you are to make a mistake. If you make a habit of not using the blank parentheses, you'll make it a habit of missing those negatives. And like, even though the negative seems small and subtle and insignificant, it's actually very powerful, right? Imagine you go to your bank account and instead of your bank account saying plus $1 million, it says negative $1 million, right? It's the same number, but that negative sign, right? So even though it's a small thing, it's the difference between night and day, right? So anyway, uh, negative 11, negative 9, x2 is negative. Oh no, x2 is negative 3, x1 is 0, right? So let's crunch these numbers. So double negative right here becomes positive. So then negative 11 plus 9 is negative 2 on top. Negative 3 minus 0 is just going to be negative 3. So then double negative becomes positive. The slope should be a positive 2 over 3, right? So we have the slope. We still want to find the equation of the line, so I'm going to use my point slope. Sorry, instead of point slope, I'm going to use slope intercept. I'm going to use my y equals mx plus b. I'm going to choose the first point because that one just looks easier. So from the first point, our y is negative 9, our slope is 2/3, and our x is 0. Only thing we don't know is b. Okay. 0 times anything, this thing goes to 0. So then we get that b equals negative 9, right? So we found our slope, we found our y-intercept. So then if we put those together, again, from our y equals mx plus b, we're going to get y equals the slope, which is 2/3 x, and our y-intercept is negative 9. Okay. So my claim is that this is the equation of the line. This should be at least the equation of the line through the first 2 points. So then I'm going to confirm that third point. Okay, so now let me show you how I'm going to check this. I'm probably going to make this the last one. So once we're finished with this one, we'll call it a day. So let me break out my trusty dusty rusty. Right, come on, right here. Looking good. Reload and refresh. All right, that looks good. So I got my trusty dusty rusty virtual calculator here, right? So what I'm going to do in my upper left, this is a TI-83 Plus ROM emulator. This is on this website called Chemtech, CEMEtech.net. But the thing is, you do have to go and find your own ROM. It takes some finagling. It took me years to find this. What this is some college students at another school, they made this, and when I found it, it's been working, and so I've been using it for years. It took me years to find it, and it's been working for years, so I don't mess with it. So in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in my 2 over 3 x minus 9. This is a calculator that's recommended, but you don't have to use this. Because this is an online course, you can use things. You can use our websites like the following. Let's do a color that's going to pop that we haven't used. So some other websites are GeoGebra.
com. This is like free graphing, free online graphing. Another one is I think it's called Desmos. I think that's what it's called. .com. This is a free online graphing tools. Okay. Um, and the one that I'm using is this website. It's called Chemtech. CEMETECH.net. But again, for Chemtech, you're gonna need you gotta find your own emulator or your own ROM. Just follow the instructions. It takes work, but when you get it working, it's really nice. Okay. I feel good with what I typed in, so I want to confirm. I want to see if my numbers work. I'm watching the clock. Oh, six. I keep trying to let you guys out at 6:15. If I didn't remember, I was gonna let you guys out at 6:15. Something said no, they get out at 6:30. So you almost got out 15 minutes early just because I haven't got used to the time yet. 6:30. So 6:20. So that's still give me like 13 minutes, right? I'm okay letting you go about 6:20. 6:25 at the latest. Okay. So I feel good with that. So now I'm gonna quit. So now I'm gonna hit. Okay, you see this clear button. To the left of the clear button it says variables or vars, VARS. I'm gonna click on that. To the right at the top it says Y variables. I'm gonna go to the right to click on that. I'm gonna click on number one functions. I'm gonna click on number one Y1 to call the function that I just typed in. So now when x is 0, right here, when x is 0, the output should be -9. When x is -3, the output should be -11. Now here's the moment of truth. So this is the line to those first 2 points. When x is 2, drum roll please. When x is 2, the output should be, oh, it's not exact. That's not close enough. That's close, but it's not exact. So are these 3 points collinear? Because that's not exactly 7, I would say no. So I would say not collinear. I would say that these are not collinear. Again, it's close, but it's no cigar, right? I was close. Like I almost became a millionaire the other day. I was like, oh, I was so close. Because like in the past couple of months, I've been like exploring different ways of making money online, right? And so I just like, well, let me try stocks. One of my former students, taught me how to do it. I was a bet. So she pointed me like in a direction, and we just kind of been going back and forth. And so like I wake up one morning, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, get on Reddit, just kind of playing around, and this kid has like the post, and he's showing this post, and everybody's congratulating him. I'm like, what? And I look at the post. He bought like GameStop stock for like I may have mentioned this the other day, but he bought GameStop stock at some low price, and like to stick it to these like hedge fund managers that's just trying to take advantage of everybody. All of these like thousands of users on Reddit like band together, and they drove the stock like sky high. I was like, oh, I saw it like a little bit too late. And like, one of the rules of thumb when you're doing stock. Now, I'm no financial guru or financial analyst or anything like that. So you don't, still got to do your own research. But I'm under the impression that when you're doing stocks, you always invest in like what you already spend money on. And like something said, you should have like PlayStation, Sony stock, Game stock, all that stuff, because that's stuff that I normally use. And I just didn't do it. I was like, no. But it's okay. That's life. Like another one of the lessons was like, hey, when you're doing stocks, you gotta abandon your emotions and have a game plan and stick to it. So, but I was close. Like I was like, so you know what? I'm gonna keep going because I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna speak it. So, long story short, we got that this is not collinear. I am just kind of filling the time. We can pick back up here tomorrow as well, or not tomorrow, but Thursday. Let me hop over to Pearson and see if this works. Let me get rid of this. Hope you guys like my story and not just bored out of your mind. Let's hop back over to Pearson and let's see. Are these 3 points collinear? So all that work. Now you could just guess and you have a 50-50 chance, right? But chance favors the prepared mind. So instead of guessing, awesome sauce. You know, we boost the chance of success in our favor by being prepared. Okay, we drastically boost the chance of success. All right, so that was fun. Let me see the time. We got a solid 10 minutes, a little bit more, but we're going to take advantage of it. Let's go on to the next question. I don't see any questions, so I am going to forge ahead. Let's just do another one. I know we just did one. Maybe it'll go a little bit faster. So let me take some notes because again, the repetition is what increases the speed. You can't do something once and be a master, but if you do over and over and over, you'll know it like the back of your hand, right? All right. So if you think about anything that you're good at, you didn't get good at it by doing it once. You've done it over and over and over, and that's how you get good at whatever you want to get good at. All right. So this comes from section 1.1, question number 13. Again, it's asking, are these points collinear? Question mark. We got the point 0, comma, -7. We have -3, comma, -13. And we have 2, comma, -3. Okay. So let's hop back over to my tablet, which is here. And then we got this for you guys. So collinear. Oh, I did kind of want to see the way the book does it. Let me just do this one again the same way I did. Okay. So first thing I want to do is find the slope. So that's going to be my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I personally like to label x1 y1, x2 y2. And actually, instead of using that one because of that 13, I'm going to make my second point this one because these numbers are smaller and it just looks like it's easier to manage, right? You just need to choose any of the 2 points, right? So I'm going to do my blank set of parentheses for each coordinate. That'll help us with the negatives. So y2, we chose to be -3. Y1 is -7. X2 is 2. X1 is 0. We got a double negative going on here. Okay. And 7 plus -3 is 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. So then the slope there is 2. Okay. So then I'm going to use my slope-intercept form, which is my y equals mx plus b. I'm going to choose the first point because of the 0. I feel like that'll make it easier. So the y there is -7. The slope we just said was 2. Our x there is 0. Only thing we don't know is b. Right? Notice that 2 times 0, this goes to 0. And we get that b equals the -7. Okay? So we have our slope and our y-intercept. So let's see, we're going to have y equals the slope we said was 2 times x, and the y-intercept was -7. So our claim is that this is the equation of the line through those 2 points. So then I'm going to hop over to my trusty dusty rusty, hop to my calculator, and I'm going to type in that information. Thank you. Hello, friend. Okay, so I'm going to go to my y equals. Let's just clear this out. We got 2x minus 7. Let's quit. I'm going to go to variables, to y variables, number 1 and number 1. So now let's test these. When x is 0, it should be -7. Moment of truth. Here, let's test the other one. When x is 2, y should be -3. And here's the moment of truth. When x is -3, the output should be -13. Awesome sauce. So now we confirm all 3 of those points are on the same line. So are these 3 points collinear? And this one we would say yes, collinear. Let's do dark green. Yes, collinear. So they're on the same line. Style is this one. Okay. So then I'm going to hop over to Pearson, and but you see here, this has everything for this question. It has the question ID, basically the instructions. You know, are these 3 points collinear? It has the original question, any supporting work, and then I box my final answer. right? So let's hop over to Pearson. Let's see if it's like this. hmm Are these 3 points collinear? I'm going to say yes. Final check. Awesome sauce. Let me see the time. We definitely have time for another one. The next one should hopefully be the last one. It'll get us to the end of the time. Identify the triangle as isosceles. Okay, so we're talking about a triangle. So we have these 3 points. Now we could plot the 3 points, but then because it's not going to be drawn to scale or like, it's going to be off a little bit, you can't really eyeball it. So we want to identify the triangle made by these 3 points as either isosceles, equilateral, or right triangle, or scaling, right? So let me get this information, take some notes. This will definitely be the last one for the day. All right. So let's go like this. I feel alive again. This is awesome. So there's a request for the group me. So yeah, once I end the stream, so you might want to link up because I know I can talk fast and this will be a little bit much. So yeah, you definitely want to have support, work together. You keep in mind you've already paid for tutors. The tutors you have tutors at Morehouse that are included in your tuition, right? So you already have tutors in Pearson, your classmates, and me. Okay, guys. Yeah, maybe do a private something or another, because just in case, I don't know what what people can see and what they can't. Okay, so this is question number 5 from the homework. Question 5. This comes from section 1.1, question 15. Um, what type of triangle, or let's say identify the triangle. Okay. So we have the point P, which is 3 comma negative 3. We have the point Q, which is 3 comma negative 5. And we have the point R, which is 3 plus the square root of 3 comma negative 4. Okay, that's all the information that we need. I'm going to hop back to the tablet. Boom, and we're here. All right, I'm going to let that be. So now, I'm going to just do a rough sketch. So, like, say this was the origin, right? So if we go right, let's say this is like 1, 2, 3, and then down 1, 2, 3. So say this is the point P, which is 3 comma negative 3, right? And then the point Q is 3 negative 5. So that's 3, 4, 5. So here's the point Q, which is 3 comma negative 5, right? And then the point R is whatever the square root of, let me see, it's a little bit more than 3. Square root of 4 is 2. So it's like 4 point something, right? I'm just going to go a little bit to the right of these. So a little bit past 3, so about 4 point something, a little bit past 4, and then down 4. So here's 1, and actually, let me do my paper. I like this kind of paper for this a little bit better. So that's 1, 2, 3. So then 4 is there, and then 1, 2, 3. So then 4 is here. So it's somewhere in here. Okay. So let me rearrange these so we can see it a little bit better. All right. So there's the point P. Here's the point Q, and then the point R, which is 3 plus root 3 comma negative 4. All right. And let's just be consistent. So we have these 3 points. We want to determine what kind of triangle do these 3 points make, right? So, we can eyeball it, but, we don't really know. So what we're going to do, we're going to do some calculations. Let me do a calculation. I think I have an idea just eyeballing it. But what I'm going to do, so I'm going to call this like side A, side B, and side C, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to find the distance of each of those sides. Let me get a copy of this. Let me say, let me copy, paste. Actually, I want this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Like that, right? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the distance formula 3 times to get a sense of what's going on here, right? So again, we're using the distance formula, so we should probably write that down. The distance between 2 points is going to be the square root x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so we are expected to do the distance formula 3 times for this one. Let me see the time. I'm going as quickly as I can. I see the time. I'm about to get you guys out of here. Okay, so now, so if we're doing side A, that's going to be the distance between what? PR, right? Let me see. That minus that. So that minus 3 is just going to be that minus 3. Here, let me write it out. 3 plus root 3 minus 3 squared plus negative 4 plus 3 squared. Okay, I'm kind of skipping some steps for the interest of time. This cancels this. So we're left with root 3 squared becomes just 3. So that's 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1 squared. It's plus 1. So then that one is going to be 2. So our claim is that A equals 2. Okay, let's do B. So B is going to be QR, the distance between Q and R. All right, kind of the same setup. I'm going to say the 3 plus root 3 minus 3 squared. Uh-oh. Nope. No, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Plus negative 4 minus, or it's going to be plus 5 squared because the double negative. Okay, so keep going. This cancels this. Square root of 3 squared is just going to be 3 plus 1 squared is 1, so that's going to be 2 as well. Okay. So then our claim is that this equals 2. Okay. Which is what I anticipated just from eyeballing it, but you can't always just eyeball it. That's fine. Let me just put that there. Okay. So then let's do C. So C is going to be the distance between P and Q. Okay. So that's going to be, let's see, it's going to be 3 minus 3 squared plus, what is that one? Negative 3? Negative 5 plus 3 squared. Okay. So this first term goes to 0, so this is gone. That's going to be negative 2 squared is going to be 4. So the square root of 4, it's going to be 2. All right, so when I eyeballed it, I was thinking it was isosceles, right? I figured that 2 of the sides are the same. It looks like all 3 sides are the same, so then that means we should be dealing with an equilateral triangle. It means all the sides should be the same, okay? So we're going to hop back over to Pearson and see how do we do. How, like this, okay? Let's hop to Pearson. Let's go like this. Pearson. Is a triangle and isosceles equal? Should be equilateral. All the sides are the same. Let me get rid of this. Check. Equilateral. All right. Is the triangle a right triangle? So for it to be a right triangle, it would have to be the case that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Um, but no, it's not, because it's not going to satisfy a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Is it a right triangle? We're going to say no. Okay. So I know that was a little intense. These questions can be intense. You have to do your best, forget the rest, don't stress, and be blessed. Okay. All right. If you made it to this point, you are a trooper. My hat's off because it could be exhausting. So we don't meet on Wednesday. Hopefully you were able to get a have a good time but still learn something. We'll do our best to try to pick up from here on Thursday. So this week we'll try to devote all our attention to section 1.1. Go ahead and get started on Alex. Um, Alex, you should already have that set up through Morehouse already. Okay, guys, if there aren't any questions, enjoy the rest of your night. From one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. See you next time.